Yeah.
And so in seeing that flyer, I said, this might be something fun to take my son to.
That's cool.
And so I go to the event, watch my son's reaction, and as I'm walking around the venue, all the kids are looking at me like, "Are you a wrestler?" I'm getting that question. I'm like, no, I'm just here with my son. And then Chris Cambridge, I spoke with him, and he took a look at me, and even the great Cambridge was in awe. And he told me that I'd make a great tag team partner. And I took another glance at my son and saw the look on his face, and I said, "What, you want me to do this?" And then I asked around to a few guys, and they pointed me to my trainer and mentor, Billy Simmons. And I sat down with Billy and talked with him, and he told me the things that I had to do to make that transition. Once again, I look over at my son, and I said, "What, you want me to get in the ring and beat up these guys?" And he said, "Yeah, do it, Dad." XKD was born.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, well, I'll tell you, you are just a massive dude. I was amazed when I always, I'm big wrestling fan, big pro MMA guy and all that. So I watch all this stuff, and you see these guys, and you're like, oh well, they're big dudes, and then you see them in person, and like for instance, me and Dave Rickles. I trained with Dave Rickles and those guys down there at Wichita, and the first time I'd seen Dave on Bellator, and then I went to the gym and everything, and I'm like, oh, Dave, he just looks like a normal dude. But like with you look big on TV, and then when I met you in person, you're a big dude in person. It's just a hell of a deal. What are you, like 6'6", 6'4"?
No, I'm only 6'1".
Oh, Jesus.
Just 6 foot.
Oh, Lord. 6'1", probably 300 pounds, maybe?
Close. 310.
Wow. Holy smokes. XKD with us today.
Yeah, I want to know what your workout routine is.
Well, I train a lot up at Great Life in Salina, Kansas.
Yeah.
And it just includes a workout that was set in place when I was playing college football. It's a lot of it's built and designed to make you stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bench press, a lot of leg work, and a lot of sweat.
And is your diet strict too?
No, well, it all depends on when I'm getting ready to step into the ring. I like to say the week after I'm in the ring and I beat the hell out of my opponent, I like to binge then.
Yeah.
But after that week, I go back to just I try not to eat after 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
That's the key. Drink plenty of water. I cut soda out of my diet.
Soda will destroy you.
Yes, it will. It's slow and sluggish.
Right.
That's a funny story. Before one of my matches, I actually I was sitting in the back and I couldn't find anything to drink, and so I just kept chugging soda. This is before a match with the magnificent Malico, and it was really rough for me because the soda made me so sluggish that I actually took more of a beating than I should have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes you feel like that. You eat like crappy food, and you can just feel you're moving slow.
Yeah.
So
It slowed me down significantly.
Yeah.
That and being drop kicked off the apron in my head, smacking the concrete floor. That'll slow you down too.
But it is amazing how the different foods, drinks, and whatever actually make a big difference on your performance like that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And my family they're very supportive, and they make sure that during my time of training, I eat right.
Yeah. Well, that's
You
awesome.
got to be strict with your lifestyle to be like that.
Oh yeah.
This is we've got XKD with us today. He joins us live here in studio, and heck of a dude. You would think when you see this guy in person, you would think, oh, he's one of these bad guys. But I'll tell you, he's the nicest dude. So getting into pro wrestling, and how many matches have you had? Because I know that you've had a pretty good run up there in XWE so far. You just came back after a little hiatus. Talk to us a little bit about your wrestling that you've been doing and everything.
I've had, I'm just taking a wild guess, maybe 15 matches up under my belt.
Oh, that's not bad.
And I took my hiatus because I wanted to watch my son play football in college.
Yeah.
That's something special. Those are days that you just never get back. But believe me, I was still following the action.
Yeah.
And I had to take, and during this hiatus, I had to take a long look at myself because after my match with Outlaw, I feel like there were a lot of things in that match that I did wrong, and the match went south really quick. Well, I didn't listen to some advice that was given to me beforehand, but I wanted to give it all that.
That's cool.
While I was gone, like I said, I stayed in the know, I'd say. And I watched that belt be handed to this person and this person.
Yeah.
I have to say, why not?
Some of these guys that had that title, I'm and then of course Aaron Helms now has got the belt, and Nagy, have you ever met Aaron Helms?
I don't think so.
I don't think you've ever met Aaron Helms. He's been on the show a few times, and he's very entertaining, we'll say. And then there's Kenny Zombie Jones, of course. And I just like to poke fun at Kenny just because. Speaking of Kenny, I think Kenny's watching because he just sent me a Facebook message, a link to an article apparently somewhere about a McDonald's employee that was fired for putting his mixtapes in Happy Meals. So that brings back memories of us doing the radio show in Salina, Kansas, because we used to have all these rappers on that always had mixtapes. So it's it's kind of like bringing everything back. It's like a Seinfeld episode, bringing it all back to the deal. But XKD with us today. He's in studio. He is as big as advertised. Good Lord. What do you think about this, Nagy? Hell of a deal.
Wow. Tell you, I don't want to get on his bad side.
There are very few people that do.
Right? He can hold his own, I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you, he's something else. Now, are you going to be at the next event, April 29th in Salina?
Yes, I will. I will be at that event.
That's awesome. Hopefully, what are you doing the 29th, Nagy? We got to get you up there.
I am not sure. What day is that?
It's a Sunday. It is, let's see how many weeks away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I will check and see if I'm booked or not.
See if you're booked or not. Because if you're not, you ought to
that'd be cool.
Come up and because I guess I'm gonna end up spoiling something, so I won't say anything. I know there's gonna be a big match, and I won't get into what they're gonna be doing in this match, and I don't know if maybe you know. I don't know if you've heard the rumors about what they've made a purchase, and something's going to happen, but. I don't want to spoil it because it hasn't been posted yet. But if you know and I know, then we know.
Well, I mean,
that's all that matters.
For those who are in the know,
yes,
it's so exciting that you can't help but want to spoil it.
There you go. There you go.
You are a fan of wrestling. This will be an event that you do not want to.
This will be a hell of a deal. This is going to be something. XKD with us today. So the XKD, are those initials, or is this a nickname that you gave yourself? What's?
Those are the initials have meaning.
Yeah.
Of course, the full title is Xavier K. Damage K.
Yes.
But everyone who has wanted to know what the K meant, it stands for knockout, meaning I will knock you out.
How many knockouts do you have under your belt?
Well, funny thing you should ask. That's a funny question to ask because I was an amateur boxer.
Of course he was. Because I'm thinking football player, and then I'm like, I've seen this guy work though, and I'm like, and he's like, I did boxing too. Of course he did.
Yeah. I was a true athlete. I always had to be doing something.
That's
and
awesome.
To answer that question, I have 20 knockouts under my belt.
Oh wow!
Jesus.
Well, congratulations.
Holy smokes! So wrestling, boxing, football. Have you ever thought about doing MMA? Anything like that?
Yeah, that's funny too because my brothers they were big when I was growing up in karate.
Yeah.
So they contributed to teaching me some of those skills as well. And you know, I've
That's cool.
There's been several people who tried to egg me on to do MMA.
Yeah.
But I'm just afraid that I might hurt someone.
Well, that too.
Well, I have
because a guy like you probably don't know your own strength.
Well, I have a temper.
That's true.
Boot,
oh, well, that too.
And I'm afraid someone might hit me wrong, and I just won't stop.
You're just bam. Yeah, and I've seen these referees that work for the state of Kansas, the Athletic Commission. They're bite-sized guys. There's once this guy would get focused, there's no way to get him off of anybody. So it's probably a smart move to not do MMA.
Yeah, it's a smart move to stay away from ground zero.
That's awesome. So, what's your Facebook presence and social media and everything like? Do you do much of that, or is that?
I have some. I have a guy who would like to also come in.
Yeah.
On my Facebook presence and whatnot, but it's not something that I've been dabbling in.
Yeah.
Or good, just in depth.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, XKD with us today, Michael Nagy in studio. We are earlier in the program. We had on. Well, we tried to have on the one band, but they were nowhere to be found. We had the big story on, and then we had we had Mechanism, an industrial
awesome band.
Heavy metal kind of band.
That's something you'd want to play while you're in the ring.
Then we got XKD on in studio today, and we tried to get a hold of Stephanie Joy from the Exotica Denver. She's going to be part of Exotica Denver, but of course she's nowhere to be found, so who knows what the hell's going on there. But XKD joining us in studio, and so you've done MMA, you've done boxing, you've done pro wrestling, football. So
what's next?
Yeah. Well, what the hell else you got? What the hell else is there to do out there?
Well, believe it or not, what's next is coaching my son's baseball team.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty important to me. I believe as a parent, you have to show up.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. I'm still going to be in the ring performing.
Yeah.
And I'm coming for what's mine.
So do you just primarily do XWE just because of all the other stuff, or do you try to take bookings?
I try and take
places,
bookings. I like to say I go where Billy tells me to go. If he says, I want to wrestle down here in the WWX, and I'll go to the WWX. I believe in June. I'm trying to get. Forgive me if I get the title wrong, but I believe it's XDWF.
XDWF, Johnny King.
Yes. For him, and I'm looking forward to that.
Hopefully, that's pretty cool. And yeah. Speaking of good old Flex Reed, yeah, Flex. Yeah, they have in Mexico. They have minis. So like they have mini La Parka, mini this, mini that. Flex Reed would be considered an XKD mini. And if Flex hears that, he's going to be mad at me, and that's fine. Me and Flex go way back.
Say that. Well, Flex is a great guy, by the way.
I love Flex. He's great.
Great friend of mine. But I believe in this event, and I'm not for sure if it's solid or not, but I believe for the first time ever, XKD will be tagging with Flex Reed.
That's awesome. I got to be there for
that. That is tremendous.
That is going to be tremendous. Oh, that's going to be awesome. XKD with us today. He joins us live here in our big broadcast in studio, talking about his professional wrestling background and everything that he's involved in. Michael, So
did you know Jiggy won the arm wrestling contest? We got to have you guys go at it.
We've got to do an arm wrestling thing sometime.
He's in the world champion for arm wrestling. So now we got to put him up against you.
Did you ever? I gotta explain this. He's probably since he watches our videos, he's probably seen this. But we did a deal at the arm wrestling in September last year at the State Fair. And I went out there, and we had Bob Hunter and everybody with us, and we were doing this stuff where we were talking to these arm wrestlers. And they asked us, they said, hey, do you want to get in there? And I was like, oh, well, I guess I could. And so he told me, he says, well, here's what we're going to do. He says, have you ever arm wrestled before? And I said, I have no clue. I've seen Over the Top, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So they had me arm wrestle this guy who was like the reigning champion of this thing. And in professional wrestling terms, he did the job for me. and so I'm there, and I'm like, and they had us lock up, and I'm like, oh, I am so screwed. I am so screwed because this guy's arm looked like maybe half the size of one of your arms, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then all of a sudden they said, well, go, and I start to kind of put on my I was literally like jumping up on the table, putting all my weight on it, and then all of a sudden the guy goes down, and they're like, oh, well, now you're nationally ranked and all this stuff, and I'm like, what? And so I thought, fuck it, I'm getting on Facebook. So I get all over Facebook and everything, and I'm like, I did this thing. And so I had all these guys get a hold of me, and they're like, a lot of them are pro wrestlers, and they're like, what the hell happened? And I said, oh, the guy did a job for me. I'm like, he put me over.
That's one way to get on top.
So we'll have to do that
before the show's over. We might need
we need to do that. We need to do that.
Do it right here.
We'll do it all right there. That'd be awesome. We'll film that as an extra for the website. That's great. XKD with us. You get me into all sorts of trouble, Nagy.
Hey, you like drama and ridiculousness, so.
That's right. I always say, and Billy Simmons loves this. I always say, if drama's right here and I'm right here, I'm running that way. But
you never know. Maybe you'll win.
You never know. We might do a 2 out of 3. So at least
I mean, there's like only a 1% chance.
There's a 1% chance. But we'll try it. XKD with us today in studio. He's great, and he's going to be part of XWE's big show, April 29th, in the great city of Salina, Kansas, at the Ambassador Hotel. And who is it that's going to be there? Bob Evans is going to be there. Bullet Bob Evans. I think it's Bullet Bob Evans. I might be getting him confused with Bullet Bob Armstrong, but Bob Evans is going to be there of Ring of Honor Wrestling, so that'll be a hell of a deal. And XKD with us today. So you take me through the process of, kind of give me a little behind the scenes of crafting your image and everything that you did you have help with that? Did Billy give you some guidance on that? Tell me about all that.
Well, that image has been crafted from birth.
Okay, that's good.
It's it was forged in the streets of Decatur, Georgia, when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You literally could not walk the street without someone challenging you, or someone trying to take your shoes or take your money.
Yeah.
And so I like to explain it like this.
Yeah.
The 365 days in a year.
Okay.
That's right.
Roughly maybe 230 of those days or so, you're in school.
Yeah.
About 150 of those days, I was in fights.
Wow.
And you multiply that
smokes.
times some years.
That's a lot of fights.
Then you ask yourself if you want to step into the ring or fight a person like that on the street.
That's a hell of a deal. Good Lord.
Yeah, so that image, it's been years in the making, and I've never shied away from a brawl. Never.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What got you all into this kind of lifestyle?
Well, I decided, once again after talking with Billy backstage and,
Yeah.
And stepping into the ring and training and whatnot, and analyzing the competition, that this was something that I was born to do.
Yeah.
Once again, from childhood all the way up through adulthood,
Yeah.
to slapping the person on the street who thinks that they're a tough guy.
Right.
Well, XKD is legit.
Yeah.
There's no joking about who I am or what my capabilities are. I'm a destroyer. I'm an ass kicker. Point blank, bottom line.
Yeah, not taking shit. That's what it comes down to, though.
Yes, that is what's coming. Now when you playing football and doing the boxing and everything, when you first started training for pro wrestling, was there a kind of a shock, a transition period for that, or was, because I've done MMA training and boxing and stuff like that, and I've seen the way that they put these rings together, and I've seen the punishment you guys take, and I'm like, I'm not interested. Because taking, because everybody thinks, when they get into professional wrestling, all this stuff, and it's like, I've seen the mat is thin when they put these rings together, and I'm like, I am not taking the kind of punishment that you guys take when you guys are in those, and especially some of you guys that are like getting suplexed off the top rope. You've got that extra impact with the gravity. I'm like, nope. So what was like that, going from football and doing the boxing and doing all your stuff and then getting into pro wrestling?
Well, there's a transition into it. Make no mistake about that. I mean, there's a lot of safety involved in playing football, and
yeah,
even boxing. There's a lot of safety involved. But when it comes to professional wrestling, I mean, there's no pads that are covering you.
Yeah.
And landing on a thin mat that's covered in 2x4s is, trust me, it's no joke.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that, that this is something weak or this is something proposed or made up,
yeah,
you're sadly mistaken. All I would have to say is just step into a ring and throw yourself down on those 2x4s and see how you feel afterwards.
Yeah. That you know what's, and there's a video floating around. I'll have to send it to you, Michael, of our buddy Michael Game, Mr. Gooseby. Mr. Fame, because he said he's going to live forever.
Not those two get into it.
Not if he goes up against the XKD. I think he'll live forever if he goes up against XKD. But Mike Game got some wrestling training. We did a deal one time where he did some wrestling training, and they showed him how to bounce off the ropes, and so he was getting a pretty good momentum going. Well, at one point he went to go transition, and he tripped. And he went into the bottom rope, and he broke a rib.
Wow. So tell us about that.
Yeah.
How do you cope with the...
how do you deal with injuries?
Not even just injuries, just, your body being worn out and sore from all the fights and stuff. How do you deal with that?
With ice.
I mean, over time, does that wear you down, or you just take a little time, heal up, go through it again, or... There's got to be a beating eventually.
Yes, it takes an amazing toll on your body, period.
Yeah.
Point blank. After every match, they like to say that if you're not sore, then you didn't leave something out there in the ring.
Yeah.
Especially, strikes that you take. There's nothing soft about getting punched in the face.
Yeah. All right.
There's certain ways and rules that you have to follow with striking an opponent, just like in MMA or boxing.
Yeah.
But someone's knuckles landing on your face, you're gonna feel that out.
Well, and getting chopped.
Yeah.
Right.
You Michael, you were here the day we had old John Mosier here.
Chop Jeffro.
And we had Jeffro, and Jeffro was. We had Natester here. We had all these different guys here, and Jeffro, he's our. I like to call him a special needs rapper. He was our. He loves wrestling. He loves all this stuff, and he was here, and all these different guys. And Mosier was like, "Well, would you take a chop?" And he's like, yeah, sure. So he jumps up, and Mosher just lights him up. And then a little bit later on, Natester's like, would you take a super kick? We have video of Jeffro getting super kicked. And we had a couple people behind Jeffro. Natester was standing over the door, and he wouldn't do the super kick. We had a couple people to catch Jeffro. It was just so yeah. The impact, man, is getting chopped, getting punched, and the one thing, and I'm sure that you've run into this a lot, and especially with especially when you first started. Some of these punches in wrestling, I would rather get popped for real. Get nailed with some of these working punches.
Have you ever taken one of these chair shots that Jiggy always talks about?
Oh, the unprotected chair shots. Michael, I was telling Michael about his show we went to in Mount Hope, the Mangler, of course, and he takes this chair shot. And it sounded like a damn gun went off in there. And later on, he's walking around out there, and you could tell he had a concussion. You could tell dude had a concussion. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so it's like with you, it's like, have you ever taken one of these either protected or unprotected chair shots? It's like, I've even seen the guys that, like, I've seen Flex on a few occasions. He'd take a chair shot, and he's well protected and everything, but afterwards he's like, man, that hurt. So I'm like, have you ever taken any of these, or somebody slipped when they were supposed to do something? And
well,
because accidents happen, brother.
They do happen, but I believe that at every show you should give the fans what they pay for.
Yeah, it's entertainment. Yeah.
And yes, it is entertainment, but some things are just done off the riff, I'd say, because of that certain attitude someone will have with you. And I'm talking about Outlaw.
Oh, I don't know. Have you ever been here, Nagy, when we had Outlaw call in? Outlaw lights people up like nobody's business. Go ahead and talk to us about Mr. Outlaw.
Well, Outlaw took it upon himself for the so-called back then 1% to take me out.
Yeah.
And there was nothing protected, or fabricated about this.
Yeah.
He just laid it to me with a chair.
Yeah.
This is just something I didn't see coming. I heard people scream, but I thought they were screaming for me.
Yeah.
And I saw someone pointing, and just when I turned my head,
boom.
Whack.
Damn.
I can tell by that chest shot, he meant business. I didn't even know it was a chair until I watched it back.
Yeah.
And while I'm laying on that stage, he just kept banging it. I
That's
thought
messed up.
It was like the longest minute of my life. I found myself in the back on a girdle being looked at by MTs.
Man.
But being as tough as I am, and I left around after the show.
Yeah.
We have a no contact clause, of course.
Yeah.
After the show, you'll get suspended or fined.
Yeah.
If you engage in contact with another fellow wrestler.
Yeah.
And so in respect to that, and in respect to doing what I'm doing, I didn't kick his ass, but
you probably wanted to.
I wanted to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I just hear it talked about, so that's why I figured I'd ask you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it was the first, but it probably won't be the last chair shot I take.
Especially when it's not like planned or talked about or expected.
Yeah.
That's.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam.
Yeah.
For the sake of having a good storyline or writing script, or doing whatever, that kind of stuff is planned. But like I always say, I don't do things that are fluff.
Yeah.
My matches aren't fluff. They aren't like all written out in stone. But
yeah.
We're in there trying to kick each other out.
Yeah, because that's the one thing about you guys at XWE that I like is that you guys aren't, but before the event you're not backstage. I've been to some other wrestling shows where they're like they've got it all scripted and everybody's working through every move and everybody knows everything, and it's like well, you guys with XWE, you guys are told, you know, here, you're coming out here, have a match.
That's what's crazy is that's allowed to just do a random chair shot like that? Like, that's legal? That's okay? Or
Well, I mean, you know, if you have a problem with someone, you're going to solve it one way or another. Well, let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
You have a guy that you don't like, right? You know, and you two have an altercation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit around and talk about how you're going to kick each other's asses?
well, no.
No, you're not. No, you're not. One day you're going to just meet, and those tempers are going to flare over, and it's going to happen. You know? And, I mean, after that, I mean, are you going to lay down on the floor and cry? No. You're a man. You're going to take your beating, or you're going to beat someone, but you're going to go your separate ways. Same rules apply when I step in the ring. I don't have to talk to you about Jack. You'll know when I come out that I'm going to kick your ass one way or another, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Two men step into a ring, one man wins.
Have you ever stepped in the ring and have the other guy get intimidated and just that's it? Or
No, I have not. I have not. You know, it's a funny thing because you know, I'm bigger than a lot of the other guys, but they always ask, you know, why didn't you just pin him real quick? Well, I like to say that those guys are in there for a reason. They're not exactly soft, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're veteran guys that've been doing a lot longer than I have. So, I mean, they are tough enough to take that type of punishment, you know. And it just works out that they're not tougher than me.
right?
That too. Good Lord. It is XKD. He joins us today here on the Sunday radio broadcast, coast to coast and border to border, on TuneIn, iTunes, Radio Loyalty, The Mix as well on Tuesdays. If you miss our show live on the website, you can hear it on our flagship station, The Mix, on Tuesdays as well. And heck of a deal. And I guess what we'll do at the we'll have to do this at the end of the show. We will have when we go off the air here, what we always do is we do our ceremonial picture with the
And
with
then
the
we're
guests.
gonna have to do arm wrestling.
And then we're gonna have to do live arm wrestling on my Facebook page. I'll have my Mil Mascaris no yob shirt on, and hopefully I won't be doing the yob. But we got XKD with us today. He is fantastic, and I'm glad he was able to make the trip over. I think this is awesome that we've got a chance to kind of just see a little bit behind the scenes of this guy, how this whole thing works, his time in pro wrestling and making stuff happen. What's been some of the different things you've learned just from talking to some of these guys at some of these shows? You mentioned you've done some stuff with WWX. You've you know, Billy and you have worked on various things and in training. What's been, you know, have you picked anybody's brains backstage and talking to guys, or how does that all work?
Well, you have to be humble.
Yeah.
For one, and you know, when someone gives you advice, it's best to take that advice. Because I always like to say, to have someone talking to you is good. To have no one talking to you is just ignorant.
Well, that too.
And after I step out of the ring, after my match or what have you, I always get advice. I always get feedback on, you know, what I could have done better, or, you know, what I done well, you know. But there's a big support group in there. Great group of guys who are willing to share their opinions, and I like to say, sit back and fellowship with you. You know? Yeah. And I literally take that advice and learn from it.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. It is XKD. He's with us today here on our big program, and let's do this. We're going to try this one more time. We're going to try this Stephanie Joy one more time. We got XKD. We're going to have him hang out with us here. We're going to see if we can get this chick on the Skype. I don't know if she will be there or not. I want to give her one more opportunity. If not, we're going to finish here with XKD and we'll move on down the road. But plus we got to, I guess, do this arm wrestling thing.
Right? Have to.
have to now.
You're nationalist.
That's right. I'm nationally ranked. I just think that's ridiculous. No, she's not there. Okay, well, that's fine. We got the Mario music going in the background. I always love that from Skype. They did an upgrade on Skype, and now when we call people, it sounds like we're jumping up and down and hitting the Koopas and doing the mushroom thing and all this with Mario. XKD with us today here in our program. I like the insight that you've provided today, a little behind the scenes of everything, because there's a lot of times I'll have pro wrestlers on here and they are in full wrestling mode. They don't want to talk about any of the behind the scenes stuff. They don't really want to do all that stuff. And it's like, we're all wrestling fans. We all know what's going on. We the inside of this stuff is what's cool. So XKD is going to be part of the April 29th show. Are you going to be at WWX next week with Demolition and them, or did you not get booked on that?
No, I would.
Thinking great band.
I didn't get booked on that particular show.
That's cool. That's he's taking bookings. He's going to be doing some stuff with our with Johnny King, who is an interesting cat. I got to meet him for the first time at the last XWE show. He is as entertaining as advertised. XKD with us today here in our program, and Michael Nagy joining us, and I guess that about wraps it up here. Before we go, XKD, one more time, if people want to, as Jay Bird Wells likes to say, wants to stalk you on social media, how do they do that exactly?
Well, just pull up Xavier K. Damage, and you'll see my Facebook page.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm always willing to interact with fans. I answer a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I've yet to do the Facebook Live thing.
Yeah.
But look forward to that, because that should be coming here pretty soon.
That's cool. Well, and also we might be I'm working out details with XWE to do a live Sunday radio show at the show in April on the 29th. Me and Kenny Zombie Jones and potentially Michael Nagy may do a Sunday radio show at the event. So
That'd be cool.
We will be interviewing wrestlers and anybody that wants to swing through, and hopefully before the Bob Evans seminar, we could get you to swing through there. I think that would be really cool.
It would be an honor.
Especially if Jay ends up showing up, because, oh my God, she would fall in love with Xavier K. Damage. Oh my God. She would, she likes her men with muscles. We'll say. And you've got plenty of them, sir. But he's taken. You're married, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, see, he's taken.
Sorry, ladies.
He's taken. But, well, thank you, man. It's been an honor.
It's been an honor.
It's been fun.
Thank you for having me.
And we definitely will have to do this again. And that about wraps it up here. Before we go, Michael, plug the photography projects and everything, my friend.
You can look me up, Photography by Michael Nagy, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Flickr, and you'll just find all my stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to Exotica in 2 weeks.
Going to go to Exotica in 2 weeks, going to Rocklahoma.
We got Rocklahoma. And
then this XWE thing coming up in April. It'll be all sorts of fun.
Yeah.
Concerts. We're going to have fun. It'll be a fun summer. And that about wraps it up here. Thanks for joining us here on our app. Also Ustream, Periscope as well, and the old Facebook Live as well. And